Hi everybody, this is Tina with Rehatch Designs. Hope you're doing well tonight or today. It's tonight for me. I am putting out a couple process videos. I'm not sure when that they will post, but I thought I would go ahead and bring you along. I'm doing some things for me that I thought you might be interested in. I love to rust things, and if you guys have watched me at all, I have several rust videos out there, and I rust things all the time. In fact, I have more rust things than I could ever use. I probably need to start selling some. You know, I rust all kinds of things, and I use rusted things in my journals. I think they're great. Here's just paper clips. These are just little head pins and T-pins and things like that. Some rusted. These are all just different charms that I have, and I love the rusted stuff. Don't get me wrong. I think they're absolutely fantastic, and I will continue to use them. But occasionally I'm in a situation where the rusted stuff just doesn't seem right for the journal that I'm doing. But again, like, I don't want it to be the brand new shiny metal either. So I want to find a way to fix that. And recently I just did a couple Christmas journals, and I don't know if you can tell the difference with these paper clips. They are gold paper clips that I just bought off of Amazon. Let me see. Let me show you the comparison. So here they are, and then here are the ones that I did. And it may be a subtle difference, but if you look at them, these look more vintage. These look tarnished, and these do not. And of course, I can make them look more tarnished if I want to. But what I'm trying to do is get to like a happy medium on some of this stuff to where it doesn't look brand new, but yet it doesn't look as aged as rusted. And the way that I achieved that is pretty simple. I used alcohol ink. This is mushroom. You can get it in this bigger container. This is a Tim Holtz. You can use any color you want. This one tends to have like almost a blackish, grayish brown color, which to me is a very natural, natural way that things that are old look. And I use the bigger bottle because I use it for a lot of different things to age. And I was just going to show you how I do that. I would wear gloves if you guys do this, because alcohol ink will stain your hands. And I am going out of town for a few days, and I would prefer not to have my hands black the entire time, or dark gray, or whatever you want to call it. So I am going to put gloves on. And all you really do, I'm going to take just a few of these paper clips. I actually need a few bigger ones, so I'm going to see if I can get a few of those. And you can just take it and put it in here. Maybe I use these plastic things all the time, especially for alcohol ink. Or you can use like a plastic bowl. Let's just put it in there. You might be able to see it better. And I just take a few drops and squirt it around. And alcohol ink dries pretty quick, so, and then just go like this and get it to the desired effect that you want. And let me see, I think that's about probably right. And I actually want these a little darker, so you can also take it and put it in a plastic bag and smush it around, but quite honestly, I rather just stick my hands in there and do it. So those are going to dry, and they're a little darker than the ones I had before, which I like because I wanted these a little bit darker. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in there. Maybe it's got a little ink left in there, and I'm going to go ahead and put a couple more drops. And this is going to give me some nice, not really brass, they still look gold, but they look like they're vintage, and but yet not as, you know, like the rusty ones are. And they'll dry pretty quick, guys, so you don't have to worry about them drying. They'll dry within 5 minutes. You can pick these up and they're not gonna, as long as they're not dripping wet when you put them down there. And chances are I will use those more than I will use just the plain gold, just because I like the effect that it gives. Let me see, put them in here so you can maybe see them a little better. So that is what you're going to get. And like I said, you can get them as light or as dark as you want. But that's with the gold. Now the other thing that I like to do, and I'm just going to put these aside. I will use these later, but I'm not going to. I don't want to use them right this minute. Let me get another. I use these. These are from the dollar store. I buy these plastic bowls a lot, and they're great because I can just trash them. And I like it better than paper because paper absorbs things, but they're sticking together right now, so I don't know. There we go. Got it. Okay, so I'm just going to put these that are done in there. I like to kind of lay my stuff that I do out flat on here. This is by the way, a mat that I bought off of Amazon, and I love it. And I've got a really big one, and I love having a media mat because this will wash off of there, believe it or not. It may not wash off of your cutting mat depending upon the color. I have a black one. A lot of stuff doesn't show, but on other mats it will show. So alcohol ink will stain. So be aware of that. The other things, any kind of metal. I mean, okay, so like here, I have those things that you put, you know, in the back of a journal. And if I don't want them really bright silver or bright gold, I'll just take a few of those, put them in there. I'm going to take now I have the brass ones in there too, but sometimes those are too dark. Sometimes they're just, you know, they're not the right color. So let's say I took those in there, and I'm going to go ahead, and then this is with the silver too, guys. And I am just going to take, I have a little brush here. Let me get it. I had it out just a second ago. Just a little brush, just a regular, not expensive brush. And I'm going to go ahead and dab some in there, but I'm going to take it and make sure that I get all over this thing with the alcohol ink. And what this is going to do is it's going to make it just look a little bit tinged, a little bit old. Now I have some of these that are rusted that I like. And you need to remember alcohol ink will dry really quick, so you got to work kind of quickly. And I don't want it on there perfectly, but if you notice, see that was bright silver before, and here's the gold. And it really does tone down the brightness to where it's not so, you know, I don't know, not so new. Because most of the time, guys, a lot of the journals that we do, we don't want things to look new. But then again, sometimes we don't want them to look rusted. You know, rusted is like all the way in the other direction. So those will turn out really good. Let's see, what else do I have? I have a whole pile of things here that I was going to use. Oh, I have some safety pins that I always use rusted safety pins. I think they look really cool. But sometimes, you know, we don't want them that rusted. So again, we'll just do those. And I'm going to put some in here. That's why you want the big bottle, because you'll use it for a lot of different things. And if you ever look at some of the really old patina on stuff, it may not look rusted, but it will look tarnished. And that's what this color looks. It looks, especially on silver things, it'll give it a very tarnished look, which I love. I don't know if you can tell with my gloves on, but I'm going to let it dry and I'll let you see it when we're all done. And I like to just kind of take it and smush them around. And so now you'll have a nice patinaed look that is not necessarily rusted. Okay, so let me get this. This is, you see me use these little prong fasteners all the time. And I'm going to get one of those so you can see while the stuff is still wet. Just so that you can see how it looks without it being rusted if you just want to make it look older. And as I said, this color really isn't black. It's not really gray. It's almost got a little bit of brown in it too. So it's just the right, I don't know. So I'm just kind of painting that a little bit. And I'll just put it back over here to dry for a minute. Let me see what other things. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I have these little, I'm getting this stuff all over. I had these little T-pins that I wanted to do a few of these. I have some rusted ones, but I really wanted to do a few of these to put documents together. I was just doing something and I went to grab one and use it, and I thought it just didn't look right because it looked just way too new. And you know, we don't want new, so we want age. Well, looks like it's already starting to dry quite a bit. Now obviously on this you want to be careful if you pick it up and move it around in your hands, but this is going to coat them, and this is allowing me to kind of move them around. And so that's going to give me those, and I'll show you those in a minute all dry. Let's see what else. What do we have here? Oh, I know. Here we go. I have, these are, well, I don't know which side it opens on. Maybe this side. Nope, maybe this side. These are little stick pins. It's not wanting to open, so I don't know. Let me see. All right, there we go. All right, so I like using these. I have some really, really long ones that I like, and I don't really want them to be new looking. I've got some silver ones. I very rarely use bright silver and bright gold because it's too new, and I don't do that many new new looking journals. I have a few, like sometimes when I do the retro, but even the retro I think could be toned down a little bit. And so I'm going to just take a few of these and just try that out. Let's try that out. Okay, first off, let's do the smaller ones, and it's going to work a lot like the safety pins. So we're just going to kind of put those in there. So it's going to give us a nice patina. Now, of course, guys, you could add other colors in there. You don't have to just use that color. Coffee works good, latte, all kinds of colors. You just try out what you have. I just happen to know that this color tends to make things go in the right direction. So, see, those are really perfect. I'm just going to mix them around a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. I still want them to look like metal, but I don't want them to look brand new. Now this one I'm probably going to have to paint. And really you don't see that much of it when you do these, but you do see the ends when you do this. And I just don't want them to look like they're brand new. So that'll change that up. Oh, you know what? When you have something, like here I have these. These are the little, the things for, that I use to make bookmarks and things. Or you can add your beads and stuff to them on the end of a page. So I'm going to take some of these because, like I said, I don't always want rusted. Sometimes I just want a little bit of a tinge. Now there's not much left in there, so I'm going to go ahead and see what happens if I paint it just a little. So I'm not doing very much on that, but I wonder if you can tell. It makes a difference. It makes it look just a little bit older. And I personally, and there's other colors you can use. Honestly, guys, this is just, it's what I have, but it's also the color that I know works the best for me. It gives it the color that I want. This kind of a tarnished look to it. And I just think it looks so much better than the bright color when 90% of the time we're going out of our way, we're inking our papers and doing all this. And then we have this bright things. And you know, and that's why I rust things. But sometimes rust is a little bit, it's going too far. So, all right. So what was another thing that I was looking at? Oh, here we go. These are, I bought a package of these little things. These are the little medallion dealies. And of course, here's the bright gold that comes with it. And here is the bright silver. Of course, it comes with this brass, which is nice. But I hardly have any of those left. And that's because I don't want to use the bright gold and the bright silver. And I really love how this works on silver. Look, I'm just painting this up a little bit, and it just took it from a very bright color to this perfect vintage looking piece. Look at that, guys. It's just perfect now. It's absolutely perfect. It was bright silver before, and I didn't even put that much on there. You can put more. I mean, obviously, you can dab a little in there and make it look even more. And this works too. If you have jewelry that you want to make it look more vintage, it will work on that too. So let's try this, because alcohol ink sticks and it will dry. It's not coming off. So, not kidding, guys, I do this all the time. And you can completely change the color. There's some alcohol inks that have pigment in them that you can change the color. And I've done that before on my channel. I'll see if I can find that and put it in the description box. But that does require a different alcohol ink. But I wanted to just kind of show you guys how you can vintage some things up. This is, okay, so I bought a bunch of these little rings, and I found that I never hardly ever use the bright ones because, well, see, I had them all separated at one time, but I'm just going to grab some and put them in there. And so I end up with all the bright colors that are left over all the time that I never use because I just don't use the bright colors. So I end up using the brass ones constantly. And because you know, it's just not even like, these have copper, they have all kinds of colors in there, but they're all bright. I had them all separated, and then the container that it was in fell over on the floor, and I was picking these things up forever. But, you know, I wanted different colors, but I just found that when I go to grab one, these are just so bright that I'm like, well, I really, you know, I'll just use the brass ones. See, these are the brass ones there. You can see that. The antique brass right there. And then there's the silver. So even when I'm using silver and whatever, I don't worry about matching my metals, but I tend to keep going for the older looking ones all the time. And I certainly could use these other ones. So let's just grab a few of those. And I bet you have some of this in your stash. Again, we'll just do that. And I'm just Gonna mix them up. Like I said, you can put this in a plastic bag and just mix it around. I don't know, the alcohol might last longer too, alcohol ink, but these turn out really cool, and you've got a whole different look than when they originally did those. So I'm going to see if I can see how they look. I mean, they just look completely different, you know. So now all of a sudden you've got some that you might use. So I'm going to put those in my stash over here. Let them dry. Yeah, they came in this container and they were all separated, and I don't know what happened. The container opened and they were all over my floor, and I had to get them back. I'm still finding stuff everywhere. So let's see, what was the other thing that I was going to do? Basically any metal, guys. You can just, you know, change it up, make it look different. There's so many things. Oh yeah, you know what I wanted to do? I have a few more safety pins that I wanted to do, some smaller ones. Because sometimes you don't always want to do rusted ones. Sometimes you want to do, you know, you want to do vintage, right? And then there was something else too. What was it? Oh, I know. These are the back things that you put on like buttons and things. I use these to make pins out of things all the time. And you know, even though you can't see them, I don't like that they look brand new. That bugs me. I like them to look old. So I'm going to throw those in there with it. And I'm just going to have a batch of, you know, older looking stuff because that's what I like. And when you do a bigger batch, you know, make sure you turn things over so that they get mixed up really good. Use your hands. That's why I like using the gloves. I think you can get better saturation with that, right? So anyway, then all of a sudden we've got these vintage looking things, and you have changed the look of everything here that we've used. So, you know, I mean, you just need to think, okay, here I've got a bunch of these gold clips, and let's say I want to go ahead and change those up a little bit, and I want to make them a little bit darker, a little bit vintagier. This is how you do it. Maybe you don't want that much on there. Maybe you just want a little bit, but that will do it. That will make them look old. And there you go. I mean, just look around, guys. The other thing to think about too is what you may want to do is take a spray bottle and just have some of this in there, and you can have like just a dedicated little bowl like this, and you could just spray a little bit and mix it up, and then that way if you just want to do a little bit at a time and you don't want to have a whole bunch, you don't have to. And the other thing is little things you may want to put in that little container. One thing I want to do is I have these little straight pins that I want to make into, I don't want these going everywhere, so I'm going to try and be careful. Oh, okay, they're taped. Because if you buy old documents, you're going to find that they didn't use staples, they use little pins, and they're not the same size as normal straight pins. I know these are going to go everywhere. Okay, so I want to do a few of these, and I think I'm going to do it in this little tray. Because quite honestly, the other thing is when you rust things, they tend to not go through, like the sharpness, it gets very dulled. So, you know, I am going to rust some of these, but I did want to do some like this. Put those in there. Put these back. I really don't want these going all over. I always worry about my dog, you know, walking around, or even me. I walk barefoot in here all the time. And sure enough, if I drop these on the ground, I'll be stepping on them forever. So, oh, come on, get off of there, tape. But anyway, what you want to do is, that's why I love these little trays. I get them at the Dollar Tree. I think they're for hors d'oeuvres, you know. And I love using these for alcohol ink. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of smush those around in there. Yeah, see, that's really the perfect color. I want them nice and dark. Because honestly, they're, you know, you're not going to usually get them bright. Now, a lot of them are rusted, but a lot of them just look tarnished. They naturally, and they're like 100 years old, and they just look tarnished. And this color is like the perfect tarnish color. I know it looks kind of black and everything, but it really, on the metal, it looks tarnished. So I'm going to put them in here and let them dry a little bit. The other thing that I like to do with these, okay, so these are these little clothespins, you know, the little, like you can get them from like the Dollar Tree or whatever. And I don't like them the color that they come. Here's the little tiny ones. I like them to be darker, like a, you know, like almost like a wood stain. And I take these, like I think I already did this one, and I just kind of paint them. And of course you can do this with a lighter color too if you want to. But it gives it a wood stain look and not a paint look. And I don't know, I just like how it looks a lot. I tend to use them more. I don't use, and what it does too is it makes this little, like on the side, the little, I don't know, whatever the spring thing is, that's bright silver. It darkens that too. You may not want them that dark. You could use any color. I have lighter colors that I could use, or don't use as much. But I like doing that to these because I don't like them all pretty and new most of the time when I use them. Very few circumstances am I going to want these to be new looking. So, you know, and it depends on the kind of journal you do too, guys, and what you do, because you may, you know, may not like them that way, but I like them this way. I like old stuff. I think a lot of us do. Well, I don't want these here. I don't want to make them too dark, but at the same time, there's not enough stuff in there. But you get my drift, guys. You don't have to use it just with metal. You can use it for other things. And on wood, it looks like a stain. So, if you wanted it to be a lighter wood stain, you'd use a lighter color. But I like this, so I am gonna, and I have it out, so that has a lot to do with how my mind works when I do things. But anyway, that's kind of what my little video was about today. I was doing this for myself, and I just thought I would show you all this. So I'm going to take these little, that's another thing, my little pins. I'm probably going to put them in this little container if they will fit. Yep. Just store them in a little container. They will dry out. I'm going to leave it open for a little while. And then I will have these. And I use this kind of stuff all the time. But if it's not already done in a batch, I tend to be lazy and I won't do it, because I'll like, well, you know. Also too, rusting things takes time, and sometimes it doesn't always work on the metal. Like I bought a ton of staples that I thought would rust, and they didn't. Well, there's no reason why you couldn't do that. In fact, let me look and see if I can find some without getting this all over the place. I'm sure it would work. I don't know. Let me look. Let me look. Oh boy. We have an avalanche here. I don't know if I have any staples readily available. Maybe not. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. Yeah, I do. Here we go. I do. Okay, these are the Tim Holtz staples, which I love, the tiny attacher staples. So let's just open those up. Anyway, guys, all I'm saying is, like, okay, we go through all the trouble of making stuff look old. And I'm going to try really, really hard not to separate these. Okay, because then obviously you can put them in your stapler a lot easier. So let's just get some of this. And we will paint these up. So when we go to staple things, okay, it's going to look old. It's going to look vintage. It's going to look tarnished. Okay? I mean, you know how important that is? It's just important. I don't know. I'm trying to do it to where y'all can see. Isn't that cool? And it looks a lot like an old rusted. Yeah. So you know what? Once you do this, you'll probably never use regular staples again. You'll be painting all your staples. Because it's really, it just makes a huge difference when you go, I don't know. Like when I rusted staples. Now the problem with that is that they fall apart and I don't know, they don't work as well after. This I can see no issues at all. You just pop that in your stapler, be just fine, you know. The other thing too that I found is I will buy see, I'll get some of them out. So like here I have some of these Christmas charms and they're just a little bit too bright. You know, I like them, but here I have all these vintage things and they're just too bright. You know, I'm like, okay, well, I use them, but I'm not like excited about it because I'm just, well, all right, whatever. So here, let me put this my top on my little, look at that. See, isn't that cool? So now I have a whole little batch of those little things. I'm going to do more staples, guys. I'm going to be going crazy with staples. But okay, so like these, let's just, you know, we don't want them rusted, but we don't want them new. We don't want them all bright and shiny. We don't necessarily have to have them brass looking, but we don't want them to look brand new, right? So we're just going to take these, and this is where you take your paintbrush and you kind of dab a little bit in different spots and let it sit on there. And you will have a nice tarnished piece look of metal, which I think looks better than just a bright, shiny, you know, piece of anything. Because I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me that we're buying old lace and doing all this old stuff. That's why I rust so much stuff. And this is a really quick and easy way. And see, guys, these look so cool. Well, I didn't do the back. I would do the back too, see? Because that's just me. But see, look at that. Can you see that? That is just perfect. It's not shiny and bright. It didn't completely change it. Let me do the back. I think you should do the back, honestly. You know, I think the back is important on a charm. You know what I mean? So I would just do that. You know, you don't have to have it super dark. Just do a little bit so it looks a little tarnished, like it's weathered. Okay, now it's sticking to my fingers because I've got so much on my fingers now. The other thing to think about is, you know, when you buy those bells all the time, if you don't want to rust them, here, I'll take some big ones and I'll put some big ones and some little ones in there. Here's some little ones. Let's see if I can find some silver. I don't have that many silver. I got a couple silver. I'll put some big ones in there. I mean, rarely do we want the bright colors, right? We're not really, most of the time we're not doing that. So let's just take that and let's change these little bells, right? let's change them. And on that, since they're round, just roll them around and it will completely change the color, make them look very vintage. Okay. And I really need something. Here, let me get something white. Oh, that's my sticker paper. I hate to use that. Here we go. Let's try this. Let's try this. Ooh, ooh, ooh. See? Look at that. Look at the difference. Doesn't that look cool? Yeah. Completely changes it. Now you can see on the gold, it's not, it doesn't change it to a dark black color. It just looks that color on my hands and on here, but it changes it to a very tarnished color. I'll put that one over there. The other thing, I like to buy these little pearls. Anyway, so that is going to just give you a completely different look. For instead of that white, it gives you an off-white color. You can simply take these little white ones and then they just, like this could be a little bit darker, I think. So I may roll them around a little bit longer. Depends on what you're looking for. I'm looking for kind of a off-white iridescent look, and when you use alcohol ink, it allows them to stay iridescent, but then at the same time, you know, you're making them look a little bit more vintage. So let that drip a little bit. See how they look more vintage now? So there's so much fun things you can make look old. So these are just some cheap little plastic beads that I bought. These might be glass. These are glass. But if you want to make them look a little bit more vintage, you're just going to do the same thing. And this is just diluted with the alcohol like I just did. And I just kind of like roll them around in there. And it's going to give them a little bit more vintage color than just the bright, you know, the really bright color that you normally see. So just do that and it will completely change the color of your plastic beads or your glass beads. It works on pretty much on anything. Let's see if I can find something plastic. Okay, so I have this little plastic drum thing. So if I don't want it to be that bright, I am going, actually you have to use it. Let me finish taking these out of there because they are going to go in here. And I will put those aside. You probably want to use this, you know, straight like that. Oh, there's something stuck on my brush. And just kind of paint the areas that you want darker and go over it. Let it sit a tiny bit because this will take some of the bright shininess off of it, so it won't be quite as shiny if you are wanting to do that. And this is plastic, it's not metal. So, but it will alter the plastic, guys. So, you know, if that's what you want to do, if you want to make things look older, let's say you want to put this in something, don't forget that you can alter plastic. So anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't know what other things. I mean, the sky's the limit. You can change just about anything with this stuff, guys. If you look at all the different things that we changed, I mean, and this is all dry by now. This is all dry. So you can do a lot of altering there. I don't know. I love what it does. And I'm definitely going to be doing the rest of my staples because rusting them, it works really cool and I love how it looks. But boy, I'll tell you what, if you're going to, you know, use your tiny attacher or something, I would be painting out all of those. So it's just a completely different look. And of course, paper clips, you can't forget that. I mean, paper clips. If you're going to, now you can use silver paper clips too. There's no reason why you have to use just, I don't even know if I have any silver paper clips because I very rarely use them. I think I rusted all of my silver ones. So anyway, so this gives it a nice, you know, well, I have to show you here. I'll just take my gloves off so you can see. Like if you, I mean, just look at these. And then look at these, and you know, just depends on what you want, right? There's a little hair in there. You probably don't want that. But there you go, guys. That's the difference. You know, they still look kind of gold-ish, but they look tarnished, which they would be tarnished, you know. Silver would be tarnished. So anyway, just realize that it's super easy to do. Again, this color is mushroom, but you could use a lot of other colors. And I bought this in the 2 fluid ounces. Not all of the colors come in 2 fluid ounces, but there's all kinds of alcohol inks out there that you can try. I just happen to like that color because it's kind of like not black, but it's not brown, but it's not gray. It just reminds me of tarnish. It's like here's the silver that we tarnished. I mean, that looks tarnished to me. It doesn't look rusted. Like these, look at these bells. I mean, come on, guys, right? Or even this plastic. Look how much better that plastic piece looks, you know, when it's not that bright, bright gold. Okay? All right. Well, that's all I had for today, and I'll see you again soon. You take care, and keep on crafting. Bye-bye.